This enclosed ecosphere went from this to this in only 30 days, and it all started with an empty jar. I started off by putting a nutrient layer on the bottom of potty mix. This is what it ended up looking like, and then I capped it with fluvostratum that was used and river pebbles. This is how it looked once it was all in. I then set up the hardscape, and this is how it ended up coming out. It's a mix of dragonstone or oko stone and Malaysian wood. For my plants, I went with Java moss, some Ludwigia, and some hornwort, which I accidentally called Myriophyllum, and I put that in, and this is how it looks. Afterwards, I filled it up with water. Then I put in some duckweed and some ram's horns that I named Bob and Larry. This is how the tank ended up looking. On day 5, I looked into the ecosphere and realized this could only mean one thing, that one of those snails was a female, and so the names I gave them were pretty wrong, because there was baby snails all over the tank, everywhere, on the wood, on the moss, and they were just taking over the tank. On day 8, I saw a little bit of algae starting to form on the glass, but I wasn't too scared because there wasn't much of it, and I was hoping that the snails and all their babies would take care of it and eat it all. On day 13, some of the hornwort started to breach the surface, and in such short time, it didn't have any dieback, and it was just going crazy, so I had to have some fear that the plants would outgrow this. Also, the snail's original babies were starting to grow big enough that they themselves could have babies, so this just meant that there was going to be more babies overall. On day 17, I looked into the ecosphere, and the hornwort was starting to grow across the top, and the Ludwigia in the back was starting to reach the surface. And I was a little scared that this ecosphere would outgrow itself very quickly. And as you can see, the baby snails of the first time also had babies themselves, and they were everywhere. And the duckweed was starting to cover a little bit, and you could see the Ludwigia on the top. On day 19, I need some plants for another build that a video will be coming out for eventually, and the plants in this one were kind of reaching the surface, so I decided to snip them all off of the hornwort and use them in my other build that you can kind of see a sneak peek of to the left. On day 23, I looked in and I was very confused because it looked like there was like a piece of the hornwort or something popping out of the ground. And I was very confused because I didn't know if hornworts send outrunners like plants like Amazon swords do, and this one Rotala was like sending out like shoots in every direction. I also wanted to see how many snails there were, so I put in a little thing of shrimp food, and I just threw it in there, and you can see it fall down. And after maybe like 10 minutes, there was like a little group of like 10 on there, and about like I'm 30 minutes in, about the same. Coming back later, I did a scene about a large group more. Once I turn the camera, you'll be able to see. And there's a bunch on the glass, and then right there. But yeah, they were everywhere. A bunch of new growth, and it was looking great. On day 30, the hornwort was fully stretched everywhere, all over the top. The rotala was growing well, and the lobelia was reaching up to the surface, as you can see here, and it was bending every which way to grow as long as possible. Overall, I think it went great, and I'm excited to share more updates in the future. I'm really glad how it turned out, and I hope it keeps going well.